In 2019, my family and I left the city in the Netherlands and moved to a tiny hamlet in the countryside of France. We have put all our energy and time into turning our old farmhouse into the family home that we've always dreamed of. We've created a holiday cottage and a cabin that we rent out for guests. And even though we've been working non-stop, the building works are still not finished. The life that we live here is completely different from the life that we had in the Netherlands. And there are some surprising things that I learned about myself after moving to the countryside that I'd like to share with you in this video. Of course, there is the cliche of how a life in the countryside brings peace, is quieter, is slower and calmer, and it is exactly why we felt we wanted to move. Because when we lived in the city, I was running two very hectic businesses, and we hardly ever had time to go to the countryside in the Netherlands. So yes, I know that I feel so much more at peace here, living a much simpler life. But the reality of that life is that I am kind of missing the woman that I was before we moved here. I have always craved this quiet life, but I am also very much a person that loves beautiful things. I've been self-employed since 2007, and before that, I had a short career in the world of investment banking and strategic consulting. And even the business I started was training and coaching. So the way that I dressed was beautiful dresses, elegant heels, like very dressy and very feminine. And I have always loved how that made me feel. I am just happy when I'm surrounded by beauty in all meanings of the word. But the life that we live here, I can't wear heels because when I walk out my door, I'm either on gravel or on mud or on grass. And I loved the first years here where I am wearing my father-in-law's 3 sizes too big cardigan, simple jeans, wool socks, and my husband's Crocs because my wool socks are so big and thick that I don't fit into my own Crocs. And basically that is my signature outfit since moving here. And I was completely comfortable with that for a long time until I realized this feminine side of me is not being nurtured at all. There is 2 me's, I would say. There is one very back to basics, nature woman that loves living close to nature, that doesn't care about appearances, and that is truly who I am. But like I said, I am also this lover of all things beauty. I don't wear a lot of makeup, that's not what I mean, but just nicely designed clothes, elegant shoes, just making me feel very feminine. Basically here, the only time that I can wear heels or nice clothes is when I go to the city. But the reality is when I go to the city, I usually have a lot of shopping to do and I need to do a lot of walking. That was not a problem when I was 25, but I'm 47 and I'm kind of experiencing a little more challenges when trying to walk long distances in high heels now. That is why I'm excited to share the sponsor of today's video with you, which is Vivaya. Vivaya is a footwear brand that's dedicated to supporting everyday life with eco-friendly, comfortable, and stylish shoes. Their idea was, why can't heels and all women's shoes have a sneaker-like comfort? So I ordered 2 pairs of shoes, flat ones that you see here. I really love this elegant design. They actually look really comfortable and the strap is adjustable, which is really helpful with my quite skinny and long feet. I have to say, they are really way more comfortable than I expected. I quite like these, especially also with this look. And I have to say, I can't wait to try the other pair that I ordered now. And those are heels. And these, I love the color. I think this goes so well with most of my fall and winter outfits. These have a very soft and comfortable insole that provides arch support. So it makes them very comfortable. I bet I can walk on these for hours without getting tired. They really look very comfy. So let's try them on. And the heel is actually not too high because I think I would feel pretty overdressed here in the countryside if the heel would be really, really high. So this is the perfect height. I also really love this nude color. I think this color is called Nutmeg. Now I can't wait to try this with a pair of trousers that I really love, but these are wide and long, and a heel just makes this look so much better than a flat shoe. This looks really, really nice. I am so happy with these. These shoes are so easy to slide into, and the good thing is they're very tight at the heel, so I don't slip out of them, which I often have with these kind of shoes. My feet are really, really narrow, so I've often bought a size too small just to make sure that I don't slide out of the shoe. But this shoe is really nice and tight around my heel, and it's still very comfortable, and I don't slide out of it at all. If you want to try the Vivaya shoes yourself, you can currently get up to 30% off with my code Marloes12 using the link in my description box. Another cliche that is so true for us, at least, is that living in the countryside, you follow the changing of the seasons. It also defines the rhythm of our days because every single season has its own activities and things that need to be done. This is one of the surprising things I think that I found about myself as someone who really needs a lot of freedom to do things when I want to do them and how I want to do them. I have found that each season just has this list of activities that you need to do now, from planting seedlings to putting them in the ground, to harvesting what's ready, to preparing wood for the winter, to stacking the wood that gets delivered in the summer, to making sure that the house is winter-proof, making sure the garden is summer-ready. All these things that I did not really think about that much. And more importantly, they are giving me a structure and rhythm that I love way more than I ever had expected. A simple and slow life in the countryside is actually very hard work, and I find it incredibly rewarding. When we bought our house in 2018, only a very small part of it was habitable. When I look back, I can't believe how much work we have done. We destroyed our entire garden to put in a new septic tank, and carefully planted new plants one by one to turn our garden into this beautiful retreat where everybody, our kids, our family, and our guests, enjoy spending time. In my early 20s, I was in a minor car accident, but it had a major impact on my physical health and well-being. Most of my corporate life, I struggled to keep up with the fast pace of work, and I kept feeling my body simply wasn't able to do it. When we had our kids, I needed help because I simply wasn't physically fit and strong enough. Doctors said this, my physical therapist said this, my family knew this, my friends knew this, and everybody was helping me, making sure I didn't have to do anything that I physically couldn't. And it installed this feeling and belief inside of me that I was not able to do hard physical work. I've always felt like I wasn't good enough, simply because I wasn't able to do all these normal things like lifting groceries to your car, taking care of your own kids. So you can imagine how incredibly grateful, but also surprised I was that when we moved here and I had changed the way that I work, not sitting at a desk all day, being outside way more, taking much better care of my physical health because I now had the time to do this. Little by little, I started to be able to do the things that I hadn't been able to do since my early 20s. And I even discovered that although I do not have any talent for this, and I have an incredibly gifted and talented husband that can do any DIY and building project that I can think of, I was able to do small things. And this is the biggest gift that coming to France and changing our life has given me. There is nothing better than knowing that I am part of building our family's dream home now, that I'm actually able to contribute to it physically by doing the physical labor and the building works. I still have to pace myself, but I'm grateful for every tiny thing that I'm able to get done that brings us one step closer to the dream home that we're building here for our family. And the last surprising thing I learned about myself since moving to France is that I look so much like my grandmother, my dad's mom. Since we moved here and we have a little vegetable kitchen garden, I love cooking with whatever produce that we have today. I like getting creative in the kitchen. I also never loved using processed foods. And my dad told me this summer, he said, "Do you realize how much you've become like your grandmother?" I look a lot like her in other ways. She was a free spirit. I know this one story that her sister told me after she'd already passed, and said that they went swimming in a little lake, and it was in the middle of summer, there was nobody around, and they just went in their underwear and hung their bra and underwear to their bikes while cycling back home, which I thought was such a funny story because I will not say I have never swum in the Mediterranean in my underwear. There's a video about that, which you don't see the underwear, but you get the feeling. And she was very much like that, looking to find joy in life and finding her freedom. But she was also a really good cook. She had a restaurant in the little village that my dad grew up in that everybody raved about. And I am have slowly discovered my love for cooking since moving here. I even published a cookbook, but I so enjoy harvesting what we grow in our garden and what we find here from, the fruit trees in our village, and turning it into all these really simple home-cooked foods. And I kind of find joy in knowing that grandma's up there looking down and looking at her one and only granddaughter, and hopefully being very proud of the things that she transmitted to me. Maybe not in teaching me how to do things, because I was only 14 when she passed away, but just from the DNA that she gave me. So our life here is slow and simple, yet very busy. There is always a lot of work to be done, but I would not trade it for anything. We feel very much at home here. This kind of life really suits us, and it suits me right now with where I am in my life, and I simply would not have it any other way. As always, I thank you so much for being here, for watching this video, and we'll see each other next week.